Per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. It is Setup Sunday, and crypto continues to not be the place to be. Go through the usual song and dance here, but man, not feeling great. And that's just kind of how it is, with the breakout potentially moving from 93 to 103. That failed. It certainly looks like it's easier to move things down. Something to monitor is government shutdown, price relative to that. Something else down the line to monitor is this Clarity and Genius Act stuff. That's potentially a catalyst down the line, but anything in the immediate future, not sure. Potentially would be metals breaking down. Would that send equities higher? Don't know. Silver and gold still look great. We'll take a look at that at the very end. Really nothing to say. No divs or anything there. Just continuing to moon. On the BTC ETF flows, we are negative 1.32 billion on the week after being quite positive the week before. So we're running in place, and not helping is everything else sort of doing better around us or doing well enough for people to seek greener grass. ETH also negative 600 on the week. ETH really has not had too many consecutive positive weeks in quite some time. It had that burst in, what was that, June, July last year, and kind of hasn't really seen much of anything. So it makes sense that ETH hasn't really gone anywhere since then. A few notable changes on the trading journal. I cut Monero and I cut Pengu, mainly because I'm still holding a bunch of other crypto junk, and I can't close that today. XMR closed roughly break even, Pengu down, 20, 30%, whatever it is. And we'll go over those charts in a second. But other than that, do I want to be trading metals, energy, and God knows what else is in here? No, I don't. But that's where the market is. So I'm not trying to force trades where there really aren't any. And you can see here this Sol T position down significantly. This IBIT call is probably going to close those if they're even worth anything Monday. But not really much to do on the crypto side. IREN, not really crypto. We'll take a look at that one. IREN doing fantastic. On the CME COT data for BTC, we are in negative territory on commercials now. And we are in the weekly cloud. I'll say that for the people in the back. We are in the weekly cloud. This could bounce. This could go to infinity from here. This could be the stone cold bottom. I don't care. But when I look at this, I don't get bullish feelings. We also have a pending bearish TK cross. This would bring us with an edge-to-edge move to 75-ish. No different from anything over here. No different from anything over here. Is it a clean setup? Is it a clean trade? Is it a short? Anybody can do whatever they want. If a short seems viable, which it kind of does, maybe you load up on puts. Maybe you go BITI. Maybe you just go to cash and do literally anything else with your life, because there's not much going on to the long side for BTC until there is, right? Like, that's the thing. The thing is, we've been down since 1010. We've been down since the all-time high. And that's it. There's really nothing else to do. Hasn't been anything else to do. That may change, but to be ignoring what you're seeing in front of your eyes is to your own detriment, probably. Now, this is a great environment for dollar cost averaging. This is a great environment for just blind buys for the next 6 to 12 months. But to be actively trading this to the long side, it has proven to be challenging, clearly. And trend on the daily is not on your side. We're below the 200-day moving average. We're below the daily cloud. And we're in the weekly cloud for the first time since 2023, since exiting. So none of this is bullish on trend. It just isn't. It just is what it is. And shouldn't be a surprise after being down what we're down from all-time high. We're also breaking out of this multi-year pitchfork, which I had hoped we would bounce from here. But it seems like any given Sunday, we are just down, right? We're just down. Okay, right? So that's how it's going to be. We're just going to slowly punch through support. Not much else to say or do. And there's really not much bullishness left up here, right? Like, if this bounces within the next $500 and can reclaim 93, then I'll get bullish again, right? I already know what that should look like if we get there. But until then, I don't see anything else to do, anything to add. You can say, well, what about liquidity, Josh? Well, yeah, when is liquidity going to listen? When is BTC going to listen to liquidity, right? Liquidity, by this measure, massive all-time high, hasn't mattered. I do think eventually, one day, maybe Q2, right? Maybe April, but I will be stalking this trade consistently on MSTR. To be crystal clear, I think there's exactly nothing to do here. I wouldn't be buying. I would be softly paying attention to this once a week so you don't tempt yourself. Set alerts, do something else with your life. This may or may not pan out as an inverted head and shoulders eventually. This may or may not pan out as an edge-to-edge trade eventually. We're talking months probably at this point if BTC continues to break down. But it's definitely one to watch because it is leverage BTC. Everybody's watching it. And by the time this gets to where it may get, I'm guessing it will be riper for a short squeeze. It's already down, 1 trillion% since the high. So I'm sure there's a lot of short interest in this name. Sadly, there's probably a lot of call buyers still trapped in this. But I'm watching very, very closely. And I'm also watching on the 4-hour once a week. Again, set alerts, walk away. No, I don't watch the 4-hour. Normally, no, I don't watch the 4-hour for anything ever unless there's a setup pending. Period. End of story. I just don't care. It's too low of a time frame. But because of this chart and because of what it is, I care about the 4-hour in this specific case. This probably fails. This probably goes nowhere. But if it doesn't, I'll be there. Metaplanet has pulled back pretty significantly. If this breaks below the cloud, I will cut my personal stash in Metaplanet. And it most likely will based on where BTC is headed. And ETH is certainly no better. ETH easily, again, I don't know who needs to hear this. Somebody in the comments is like, you told me this last week, I'm going to double down. I'm going to double down again. Easily, COT data looks the worst out of anything. Crypto, I mean, that's not hard, but you want commercials red to be net long. You want large spec to be net short and yellow retail to be short. So this is the opposite of what you want to see. You could say, well, commercials have reduced. That's fair, but hasn't really mattered, right? It hasn't helped. And this whole zone, this multi-year zone is just gigantic chop at this point. You could say, well, what about this, that, and the other thing? What about this pattern, that pattern here? Fine, right? Do whatever you want to do, but this is also flirting with something below the weekly and very, very noisy nonsense. Anything back above 4,000, maybe? We'll take a look at the daily. But what is it to do here for me personally? Nothing. Exactly nothing. And this is with validators exploding higher on the entry queue. This is BMNR. This is Tom Lee. Hasn't mattered. We'll see if it matters, but it hasn't mattered. Active validators still down from highs. And what else do I care about? I care about staking percentage on the yield continues to fall. You've also got, if we look at ultrasound money, the deflationary promise continues to be not reality for ETH. So none of that is helping or has helped. End of story. And we'll look at the daily in a second. But some other bullish tailwinds, one would think, would be the dollar weakness, USD weakness, got crushed last week. What's it going to take? $1 to 90 for crypto to wake up? Like, again, eventually things will be bullish. It is not now. It has not been yesterday. Probably not tomorrow. But eventually there will be a day when people will start buying crypto again. I don't know what it's going to take. You'd think they'd be here by now, but here we are. So this looks very bearish after trying to break higher briefly. And probably one of the scarier charts out there is XLE, which is the energy ETF. We're going to be all over the place today, so you got to keep up. You got to pay attention. XLE, the energy ETF in green versus the 10-year yield in white. And here's my 4D chess thinking, okay? If the 10-year yield breaks up to 4.5 plus, which this correlation would dictate the 10-year yield going higher. If we get there, crypto probably melts down beforehand. But if we get to the point where we see some sort of yield curve control or the Fed stepping in, whatever, right? It's going to take a crisis at this point to save crypto. But this is very scary, the way this correlation has panned out. So I don't want to say I hope that the 10-year yield goes to 4.5 or 4.25, 4.75, but I'd love to see what happens when we do, because then I think we start to see some intervention. Here's XLE, energy, looks great, right? Anything energy, rare earths, metals, that's just been where the market is at. Commodities in general. BCI is another one. Bloomberg Commodity Index looks very, very good. And the energy companies have started to break out ahead of oil. There's another great chart. I think it's silver and oil historically correlate very high, or gold and oil, one of them. But here's another place to just park your money. It's not a 10 million% return, but it is not negative, right? It is something with positive momentum where you're waiting for crypto to swing back in the positive direction. This is Chevron CVX, huge multi-year flag pennant thingy above the weekly on the cloud. One of the largest percentages of XLE, XOM as well. Breaking up, I think that's a new all-time high. So energy's starting to do very well. BTC, here we are, right? Below the 200, below the cloud. We are sitting just above a Mariana's Trench of nothingness, blackness, abyss, down to pre-Trump election levels, 70, 69, somewhere down there. There's a yearly pivot at 66. The 200-week moving average is at 58. I don't think we go down that low, but man, I don't know what it's going to take, right? We tried to fight off bearishness here, almost had a breakout on our hands, and then geopolitics got in the way. Sold off. Sunday, sold off. Last Sunday, probably sold off as well, right? Just feels like very few buyers. ETFs spewing, not helping us. So I certainly get very uncomfortable just free floating down here, where there's no volume support and there's no price history down here, right? I know a lot of bears want us to go here. I don't know how fast we get there, but it's a possibility, right? We have nothing below us. We have nothing. Literally nothing. You'd say, well, what about March? Okay, well, there's 3 levels for you. Have fun. But 70 would be the level. In ETH, again, what is there to do? Nothing. It was setting up. It was trying, just like BTC. I got nothing, right? I got nothing. This is a setup worth playing to the long side. This is a setup worth playing to the long side. You'll notice in the cloud or above the cloud, both times. Heck, even back here, 2023, right? Breakout. You have nothing. You have none of that here. None of it. Just zip, zilch, nada. Sol, same deal. I thought maybe we'll get an inverted head and shoulders here. Played it a little early. Got a little antsy with it, but also does not look like it wants to go higher. Just continues to melt. And Sol is just an amplification of ETH, which is an amplification of BTC. And anything outside of Sol isn't going to do any better, most likely. XMR closed this break even today. Unfortunately, just is what it is. I'm never closing this anywhere remotely below 1,000. And someone's going to come at me and say, well, there's that guy who hacked the thing and he was doing this stuff. Yeah, sure. Like, okay, fine. It's still a decade all-time high. So I gotta shoot my shot on that one. Pengu also just kind of looks like Sol breaking down here. Not great. I'll revisit both of these if they return to levels that are appropriate for an entry. For Pengu, it would be in the cloud. For XMR, I don't know. I kind of want to just watch and wait on that one. A few others around the horn on crypto. Coin does have a bull div on the daily, but are you going to buy this ahead of BTC potentially breaking down and ETH breaking down? I'm not. Again, where's the support here? It's got decreasing support on the way down. It does have some support, but maybe 150? You take your shot? 160? Really not seeing anything in the immediate future for Coin. Circle, same deal. There's just nothing to do here at all. Let it die, right? Just let it die. Watch from the sidelines. Onto some bullish charts, some actual setups where we've got some things that I like. IREN looks phenomenal, looks amazing. Fought off any bearishness with a falling wedge back above the daily cloud. It's about to get a bullish TK cross, bullish Kumo twist. This is the dream. Does it go to 160, 170? No clue. Does this trade work? Also don't know. But trades that do work start off looking like this. So I added to this last week. Looks great. Another one on the energy side continues to look very, very good. This might eventually pan out as a cup and handle. But again, this is not crypto, right? It is above trend metrics that are bullish. It is moving in a bullish direction. It is traded in sectors where the market is paying attention. FCell is another one. If you're looking for something just absolutely in the dumpster, look no further than FCell. Company I'm sure is probably not great, but I don't really care because the technicals to me look good and it's in a sector that is hot and things tend to be forgiven. Another hot sector is biotech. A lot of biotech names turning the corner. mRNA has done very, very well. This is ARC-G. Cloud loves it. It's out of the channel. Saw a few more people talking about it. Just kind of, unexcitingly slowly breaking up. Probably what you want to see before you enter or as you add. Transport's also doing well. This is CSX Train Company. Ascending triangle, multi-year inverted head and shoulders. All this stuff looks very, very good. Anything that requires physical movement of things or building things, commodities, is doing really, really well. And you also have the energy companies, which all have done phenomenal for the most part. Totally missed most of those. SanDisk, etc. But this is AMD with a bullish TK recross price above cloud. Also may pan out as a cup and handle eventually. But again, looks great. If you're looking for stuff to do, there's an entry for you on AMD. And we all have to collectively hope that the Mag 7 don't continue to break down, or don't break down as hard as they might, because that likely drags crypto further with it. Thus far, the Mag 7 ETF has fought off going lower, but looking at the group, doesn't look great. And king of the castle here, NVIDIA, really hope this fails. Really hope this head and shoulders fails. We may get another shoulder. It may just go sideways for 6 months. Who knows? But not yet out of the woods on that one. And then, of course, the metals, gold, no div, all-time high, just insanity, you know, absolute insanity. Did really well on this breakout, did not trade this breakout at all. And of course, I didn't trade silver at all. And that has continued to do very, very well at all-time highs. A subtle div starting on the daily and on the weekly, but overall doing very, very well. So once again, this week, crypto appears not the place to be, and you're mostly better off just anywhere else. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.